This is a video I wanted to put together for you all on how to find quality sources, credible sources, academic sources for your paper. The reason I am putting this together is because Jordan emailed last night with a really good question, which is, do we have to use those sources that you gave on the handout, or can we choose our own? And the sources I gave on the handout I provided as reference, as places to go if you need help finding good articles. I would prefer that you used our university library website or Google Scholar, and I'm going to show you both of those, and I'm going to explain why I prefer you using those. I didn't put it in the handout as a requirement. It will be a requirement in next semester for our research paper, but for this particular one, I'm going to kind of give you some leeway as far as finding sources, and I want you to decide what's credible and what's not, and we can have that conversation as we start getting papers turned in. So first thing I would suggest is the university library website. So this is our landing page for CSU Stan. Up here in the top right, it shows our library link, so you'd click on that. And this is kind of a landing page for the library website. It gives you a bunch of different places you can go, ask the librarian, gift to library. If you want to donate some money, you can do that. But this is the main spot you want to go, which is visit library website. Now this is the place that you're going to want to be to start doing your research. This is where you're going to find all your information. This search bar, as it says right up here, search library resources. This will search, it's a combined search, and it will search every resource that the library has as it's at its disposal. And so it's a huge overarching search that you can use to find a lot of information. So for demonstration purposes, I'm going to be using homelessness and Modesto to demonstrate what's going on here today. So if we type in homelessness, we're going to come out with 46,000 articles, and then these are your tabs at the top. We have article tab, and then we have a books and media tab. So it depends what you're looking for, but the articles is what I would recommend going to, but you can also click on books and media. So 46,297 articles is probably too many for you guys to get through this semester. So it's important that we look through and say, okay, that's too many. How can we narrow that down? So simple things added in the search bar, homelessness, California. Let's see what that does. Perfect. So now we're down to 11,000. Still a lot, but that's a starting point. We see things limiting the poor's right to public space, criminalizing homelessness in California. That'd be an interesting article. Schwarzenegger announces effort to end homelessness. Interesting. So let's click on this first one. We have the first one is limiting the poor's right to public space. So let's just click on that, and tab comes up, all the information. It's a journal article by the author, where it's published, all that information. You'll have citations over here. We use MLA, so there's your MLA citation. That would go on your works cited page. And it says full text available, so let's click on that and see. Perfect, so full text available. Sometimes that's said, but then when you click on it, they don't have it, so you have to find it. Don't let this be a wall. This just means that it's not going to be just given to you immediately. This requested copy here through the interlibrary loan, if you follow that, it'll get you registered for interlibrary loan using your credentials for CSU Stan. And what that does basically is it sends out a request from our library to all the libraries in the country at universities and cities, and saying that we want this, whoever the student is wants this article. And the library that's closest to Turlock will send that, and it says 1 to 4 days, and that's pretty accurate. I've requested quite a few books and articles, and they come in pretty quick. And as soon as it's here, they'll send you an email and tell you it's waiting for you at the desk, and you go pick it up. It's a good thing to try. I know it sounds like, oh, well, I don't want it to do all that, but actually it's really simple, really easy, and it's a good way of getting a lot of information. So we can't get that right now right on our computer, but we can request it and go pick it up in a couple of days. So let's see if there's another one. Let's try this one. So again, full text available. Let's try it out. Good. So this takes us to Springer Link. This is a journal that you pay money to subscribe to through your tuition. It has download PDF, and there it is. There's a PDF of that article, an abstract, basically a summary of what the article is going to be about. Keywords will help you kind of decide whether this is the article for you, and then you can go through and start reading the article and decide if this is something you want to integrate into your paper. Another tip is, depending on what kind of computer you have, you can do Command F or Control F, and let's say we want to find out in the article where they talk about California specifically. Type in California and you'll see there's 6 matches. Excuse me. And then you can kind of click through and look for every spot they say California. I don't recommend doing this before reading the article, but it is something to do when you're coming back and forth and trying to figure out where you read a certain statement, and it's a quick way to find that again. Okay, so that's our library website. You have all this. It'll say other. It's kind of like Amazon. When you buy something, it'll say, other people bought something similar. So they're recommending other articles that you may find interesting depending on your search results. So that's one way of going about it. Also, when you get these results, you have on the left-hand side here ways to refine your search. So you can do scholarly only, full text only, which if you don't want to use that interlibrary loan, full text only takes us down to 10,000, and all of these will say full text only. And so it should be available through the computer. Also, you can come down over here in format and just click journal article, magazine article, book review, whatever it is that you want. I would leave just journal article on. That's your best bet. And then topics, if you want to narrow down by topics or subject area, shows you publication date. And language, I would stick with English unless you know French or German. That'd be fun to. Don't put it in your paper. That's just a joke. Okay. Also on our website, you can go to our journal articles tab, and it'll show you by subject. So I know we have a lot of criminal justice majors. There's a criminal justice tab that'll take you to databases that are good for criminal justice or that are recommended for criminal justice majors. Same thing for English. Whatever it is that you're doing, kinesiology, it has those options for you, and you can have your own database page for that subject. What I like to go to is databases A through Z, and this shows you all of the databases we have listed alphabetically. There's a lot of good information here. I know it may sound nerdy, but these are places to go and play around with some of these websites and these databases. You'll find a lot of really interesting information. One of the ones I really like is, I think it's eBooks. Oh, eBrary. Sorry, eBrary is a really cool website that has a ton of books at your disposal. So you can click in here to eBrary. Let's click in homeless. Came up with 19,000 books. And so let's just click on the homeless children problems and needs. So you have the book there. You can read online, do a full download. Here's a table of contents. And if you click on the table of contents, whatever chapter you want to click on that looks interesting, there it is right there. It's a really cool website, and sometimes it won't have the information you're looking for, but a lot of times it does. So, for instance, homeless, there's a ton of information here about that issue. So that's another one that I would recommend going to. But again, those are just, each one of these is another kind of portal to go check out, and will open up a whole bunch of information to you. So don't be afraid to take some time and do that. The other way of doing this, or if you want to add to that, is going through Google Scholar. So instead of going to google.com and punching in homeless, go to Google Scholar, type in homeless, and these are all going to be scholarly websites, scholarly journals, academic journals that have articles that would be good to put in your paper. Another thing with Google Scholar is a lot of these will take you to journals that you need to subscribe to or pay for the information. if you sign in with your credentials, CSU Stan credentials to Google, then Google Scholar recognizes that you're a student at CSU Stan and that you pay tuition. And so all the journals that CSU Stan subscribes to and is already paying for through your tuition, you'll get the information here through Google Scholar. So instead of having to pay for it, you'll actually get it for free because you've already paid for it through CSU Stan and your tuition. So this is another way to go. I recommend. You can, if you want, just type in, go to google.com. I don't recommend this, but if you want to, you can just go to Google, type in homeless, and you're going to have stuff pops up, right? You're going to have information that pops up. This would be, if I were to do this, this would be my starting point that, okay, I just want to kind of I want to see the ballpark of homelessness and figure out what I want to focus on. This isn't going to be what I'm going to do I'm going to use this information to put into my article or my paper. This is just to kind of to read up on and see the different topics and the different issues that are going on in homelessness. And then that'll drive my research and more narrow. This is what I want to look into. So that's one way of also helping out. The reason that I try to steer you clear from just doing this and typing into Google and seeing what happens is sometimes you'll get websites like The Onion pop up, and because it does have articles about homeless. For those of you who don't know, The Onion says here, America's finest news source, but it's a satirical website. It's a satirical news magazine website. So all of these articles that are going to be on here are made up. They're meant for entertainment purposes and to be funny. So they're not actual credible articles. You can see that the more we look at this. This is an aging Peyton Manning now forced to take field with assistance dog, right? He's really not going to go out there with an assistance dog. It's just a funny way of going about an issue currently. Another one, elderly woman relieved to know she's tackled last technological advancement of lifetime, right? Another just funny article. What happens though is students who are trying to find a quick way to get this done don't want to go through the databases or Google Scholar, the university website. They type it in. Now, if you look up homeless on The Onion, there's 58 articles about the homeless on The Onion, but they're articles that aren't true, that are just meant for humor. For example, 4 homeless people dead in what girlfriend refers to as cuddle weather, right? It's supposed to be funny. Homeless man has no idea what to do with visiting parents. Another, it's just supposed to be entertainment purposes. But when you click on it, the formatting, everything looks like a news article. So it would be easy to say, oh, this fits in with my research, so I'm going to include that and I'll cite The Onion, which students have done. They've cited The Onion, and it's embarrassing for the student once the teacher has to explain to them that that's actually not a true story. That's just meant for humor. So that's why we try to focus on going through Google Scholar and University Library website, because you're safe there. Those are actual credible journals and are peer-reviewed and academic. So that's where I would stay. Also, like if you were to go to like a People magazine, there's articles on there too. Homeless man charged with attacking NCIS star Polly Perrette, right? That's for entertainment. While it's true, it's not something that you're going to put into a paper for college. Also, you can do photos. Kendall and Kylie visit a homeless shelter. This should not be, I know this is obvious, but it's important to talk about. Kendall and Kylie visiting homeless shelters should not be talked about in your paper, right? The less we can talk about the Kardashians, the better. Now, going back to Wikipedia, a few students asked me about Wikipedia yesterday. Again, it's the same thing I mentioned with Google. It's a good starting point. So when I'm talking about the history of Modesto, this is a great spot to start. Okay, you got the Modesto Arch, shows a map of Stanislaus County, talks about George Lucas, American Graffiti, Yosemite National Park, the proximity to Sacramento, Stockton, San Francisco, tourism, what we have here, McHenry Mansion, right? This is all interesting information, but I wouldn't use it in my paper. I wouldn't cite this, but I